fix them right up, and I'll make them better. Oh.
Hey guys, I'm Mike and I make stuff. This is your first time here, welcome. Pull up a chair, have a seat. Glad to see you here. If you are returning, where you been? I'm glad to see you back. Pull up a chair, grab a favorite drink, let's sit down and talk a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit different video. What got me thinking about making this video was, you see this big old stack of lumber over here? I ended up having to go pick that up because I've got commission for a few orders that I need to put out this weekend for the beginning of my summer run. And every year I'm able to put out some of these things. I build outdoor furniture, I build summer projects, and a lot of people come see me. And it got me to thinking about something that I thought I ought to touch on. I think we're going to deep dive into something a few of you even asked me about. Scaling up your woodworking, your making, your repurposing, your reuse, your side hustle. Okay? You're getting the skills together, you got the passion, you're ready to take it to the next level. And I don't want to sound like the bearer of bad news, but I want to set a realistic expectation for you, okay? Going from creating one-off pieces to batch producing for sales, that's a whole different animal. Now, I don't have a marketing degree. I didn't take classes for any of this. It's just my decades of experience talking, but it's useful information and it works. So what I'm going to talk to you about is maximizing your revenue, how to build a brand, and most importantly, avoiding a lot of the common pitfalls that tripped me up and tripped up a bunch of other people that were way more talented than me. Again, all of the things, if you're new to the channel and you feel like I've earned it, hit the like, hit the subscribe. But another thing I wanted to tell you guys is that I'm not doing that whole play with the SEO algorithm, chase. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think that's the spirit of this channel at all. I'd like to do it the old-fashioned way. So if you like what I'm doing, do me a favor, show it to a couple friends. Ask them to stop by the shop, come take a look, see what I'm up to. If they like it, maybe they'll throw a like on the video or a comment or a subscription. I think that's the best way to do this, because then instead of just grabbing a bunch of people out there with a big net that may or may not give a hoot about what I'm saying, I gather a community of people who actually are passionate about what I'm up to, and we can build a community together. That's the way I'd rather do it. If you guys don't mind helping me out with that, that'd be great. Now, yes, this is one of those talking head videos, so just pull up a chair, get yourself a drink, and let's just get into it. Alright guys, so first things first, market research. Now, I know that sounds intimidating and nobody woke up this morning thinking, oh, I want to do some algebra today. But we're going to have to work some numbers. We're going to have to figure some things out. We're going to have to do a little bit of research. It sounds intimidating, but it's just about understanding your audience. Who are you selling to? What do they want? Don't just guess. Look at what they're selling on places like eBay, Marketplace, the local craft fairs, all of the local trade apps. Pay attention to their trends, but don't just follow them blind, okay? Find your niche, and we'll figure out how to get you there in just a second, okay? That leads to what's called your USP, as I understand it, your unique selling position. Unique selling proposition. There you go. I told you I didn't go to school for this. The question is, what makes your creations different? Is it the materials? Is it the design? Is it the story? You can't just say handmade. Right? Dig deeper. What is your unique angle? Make your pieces with that signature that says you built them. And it's going to be that USP that'll make you stand out. And it'll make you stick out above the crowd so that you're not competing with all the other Joes that are out there doing the same thing. Think of it like your shop's DNA for sales. It's not just about the product. It's about the experience. It's about them interacting with you. It's about them understanding the story behind a piece. It's about that interaction that gives them that one-of-a-kind feeling that they're not going to get from talking to anybody else. Pricing is crucial, right? You can't just slap a number on something and hope for the best. Calculate your costs. I know exactly how much all that lumber cost me. I know exactly how much all that pile of lumber cost. Your materials, your time, and even figure out how much electricity you use. All of that's going to be part of it. Then take a look at what similar items are selling for. Right? But don't just undercut everybody. Keep in mind, it is a tendency for people that are brand new to want to charge bargain basement all the way down to the floor for what they sell. Because their skills, they're not all that confident that, well, what if I boogered this up and I messed it up? Man, I don't feel right charging somebody, this god awful amount. Get that out of your head, okay? Before you touched it, that was a stack of 2x4s. That's it. That's all this was a stack of lumber. I'm not selling the piece, I'm selling my time, my skills that turn that into what they want. Does that make sense? At the end of the day, what I'm trying to tell you is consider the value that you're bringing to the table. Not your materials, not your tools, you. What are you bringing to the table? And count that in, it's worth something. And don't forget, if you can, to factor in a little bit of a profit. Heaven forbid you got a little bit of funded money, or you can go buy another tool. Don't be afraid to experiment with different pricing strategies. You put something out there, it doesn't sell, you take it down. Adjust your price strategy and put it up again. See what happens. And remember, the cheapest option isn't always the best. Quality and uniqueness will command a higher price. So keep that in mind. Don't sell your stuff short. You got this. All right, so you make it to a good price point. You figured out your USP like you're supposed to, and you're selling pretty well. And you're thinking about scaling up. Awesome, hell yeah. But before you go all in, let's talk about a strategy. Is it the right time to scale? That time is usually when you've got a pretty consistent demand, when you've got a streamlined production process, and a solid financial foundation in case things go south. Start small. Start looking for tools or making tools that make your workflow more efficient. Jigs are your best friend. Being able to slap things together into a jig and then putting it together, you cannot understate the value in that. Consider hiring some help if you want to. But my rule for that is that I'm only going to consider hiring help if I can afford to pay them 4 times. Then I know I got more than enough in there to cover. If something goes south, I got everything covered and I can take care of them, because I'm not going to leave somebody high and dry because I ain't got enough money. And more than anything else, do not sacrifice quality for quantity. Scaling up too quick, it can lead to burnout. You can have quality issues. You can have financial strain. All of those things are going to affect your end product. And before you know it, you're not making a cute handmade item with a story. You're just pumping out a SKU number that somebody could have went down to whatever store and found something similar. Know your limits. I guess what I'm telling you is, if scaling up means you're going to compromise the things that make you and your item special, don't do it. Now here's a big one. Maintain that handcrafted feel to your product. The more you scale, the easier it is for you to lose that personal touch that you got. And you don't want your unique handcrafted item that you've spent so much time developing, you don't want it turned into something else that they could have found just as easily on Amazon or Temu or Alibaba or whatever. So how do you avoid that? Storytelling. It's a big one. Share the process, share the inspiration, share you. They're buying you just as much as they're buying the product. Offer limited editions. Build custom pieces. Quality over quantity. You're not going to get anywhere out there slapping handmade stickers on something and calling it a day. It's just not going to smell right through that. And when you lose that connection with your customers, you lost the magic. You lost the mojo. And that magic, that mojo is what sets us apart as craftsmen. I can go to the store and I can buy a product all day long, but I can't get something handcrafted with a story. Something that I can have conversations with my friends and family about. I can't do that running down to one of the box stores and buying something. That's what sets you apart. Don't forget that. Now we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, the pitfalls I was talking about at the beginning of the video. One of them, market saturation. Oh, I'm building this thing, and this thing is absolutely the most amazing thing ever, so I'm going to crank out 175 of them. Before you know it, everybody's got one. And even worse, everybody's buying them, so everybody else starts taking a look at them and figuring out how they can make the same thing. Or you know what? They're a dime a dozen. Literally. Don't flood the market with the same thing. Diversify. The second one, I know I've already mentioned it, but quality control. Don't let your standards slip just because you get busy. Time management. Don't burn yourself out, because that spark is what's making everything unique. And the minute that you lose that because you're burnt out, the products suffer, the customers aren't happy, and you're dead in the water. Inventory management. Now, I can't say anything because, of course, you see my place. It's about as cluttered as all get out. But imagine how much worse it would be if I sat here and I built up a whole garage full of items waiting for somebody to come buy them. Most importantly, don't forget the service, the customer service, before, during, and after the sale. Your reputation is everything. Remember, this ain't just about making money. It's about building something sustainable. And anything that's sustainable is built on a strong foundation. Be honest, be yourself, be genuine, be transparent, and be ready to adapt if you need to. So that's my take on it. There you have it. Scaling up, repurposing, reuse, woodworking, craftsmanship, side hustles. It's possible. But it takes planning, it takes strategy, and it takes a healthy dose of realism. Don't be afraid to take risks, but don't be reckless. Learn from your mistakes. Celebrate your successes. And always try to stay true to yourself, your product, your character, and your vision. I hope this is giving you some valuable insights. I really do. I appreciate you sticking around for as long as I've sat here and talked my head off, but I want to hear from you, okay? What are your biggest challenges that you've experienced in the past when you tried to scale? Let us know about your successes too. Show us what you've done. We want to know. Let's celebrate each other as a community and make things great. So share your thoughts down in the comments. Don't forget, when you're walking past that like and subscribe, I ain't gonna be mad if you trip over it and accidentally hit it. But keep tuning in. I'll keep doing more build videos. I'll keep doing more tips and tricks. I'll keep trying to give you as much knowledge and much insight as I possibly have. And we'll continue sharing all of it together, and we'll make this even better the farther we go. Thanks for watching, guys.
I fix them right up, and I make them better.